Amid heightened tensions over Taiwan, both the U.S. ambassador to China and his Chinese counterpart have released statements regarding the situation. The U.S. ambassador, Nicholas Burns, has called for China to show the world that it isn't an agent of instability, while the Chinese ambassador to the U.S. has said that he's concerned about the level of trust between China and the United States. The U.S. diplomat spoke about Beijing's response to Pelosi's Taiwan visit. He said the crisis had been manufactured by China and that it was an overreaction. He said that it was up to Beijing to convince the world that it would act peacefully in the future. Burns had been summoned by the Chinese Vice Foreign Minister on the night of August 2nd at what he says was the exact moment that Pelosi's plane landed in Taipei. He said he defended Pelosi's right to visit Taiwan during what he called a contentious meeting. And for more details, our correspondent Xin-Xing Liu sent us this report from Taipei, Taiwan. Let's listen in.
U.S. Ambassador to China Nicholas Burns made a pretty interesting remark to CNN yesterday. He said that he does not believe that there should be a crisis between U.S. and China relations over the peaceful visit by the U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan. And he said that it was a manufactured crisis by the Beijing government and an overreaction. He also called upon China that it must show that it is not an agent of instability on Taiwan. But on the ground, we are actually seeing a pretty much different picture. So in between August 3rd, which is the day Nancy Pelosi departed Taiwan, stretching all the way until the 19th of August, during the mere 16 days, a total of 275 POA aircraft incurred across the median line in the Taiwan Strait or into Taiwan's southwest air identification zone.
The Chinese ambassador to the U.S. took to Twitter and spoke about the U.S.-China relations. He said that the U.S.'s China phobia was affecting the levels of trust between the two sides. He said the common interests and responsibilities of the two nations far outweighed their differences and that the differences should not justify confrontation and hostilities. He said that U.S.-China ties were going downhill and that decoupling was not in the interest of either nation. He said the world was big enough for both the U.S. and China. The Chinese ambassador also spoke about Taiwan. He tweeted that the crisis wasn't started by China and that they didn't want to use her visit to create a new normal. He said that if China wanted that, they would not have tried everything to stop her visit. We also have a report by our correspondent Susan Tehrani with more on this from New York. Let's take a look.
Sino-U.S. relations hit an all-time low when China decided to dramatically reduce diplomatic relations with the United States following House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan as Chinese aircrafts continue to cross the median line of the Taiwan Strait with one incursion after the other. On Friday afternoon, however, the Chinese ambassador to the United States took to Twitter, raising concern about the level of mistrust between Washington and Beijing, blaming it on, quote, China phobia and pondering how trust may be restored between the two sides. In another tweet, he writes about how shared responsibilities outweigh differences. Less than 24 hours, however, he did take to Twitter and call Nancy Pelosi's trip to Taiwan reckless and provocative. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.